joining us today on this webinar of Internet of Things. I'm your host, Richard Jones. I'm the Business Development Manager for iCoTech here. Basically, my job or my role within the company is to look out for new business opportunities and sort of be the first point of contact for most of our new customers that come in through the door. It's my job to sort of nurture the relationships with those clients and help them to start realizing their sort of digital vision. So that's just a little bit about me. What we'll do, we've got an agenda that we're going to run through today. Basically, an introduction to iCoTech. We'll give you a little bit of a background as to where we've come from. A little bit about our approach and our offering, and then we'll jump into the main crux of what you're here to listen to, which is the overview of IoT or Internet of Things. Then we'll move on to the sort of longer term vision. That's from ourselves, Microsoft, and other partners as well. They will give you some Azure use cases on a very high level to show you how it's currently being used and sort of how it can be used in the future. And then we'll sort of move on to how we can help with IoT, implementing that and sort of managing that with you. Then we'll have sort of a question and answer session at the end. If you do want to jump into the chat with any questions as we go along, I will do my very best to answer them as we go along, but I will try and obviously keep them as well, sort of at the tail end in the question and answer session there. So our history. The company was started in 2018 by our current CEO, Joel Markham. Joel's sort of background has always been in the project management space. He started off his working career in Welsh Water, as a PMO, a fresh-faced PMO over a decade ago. He went on to the Lloyds Banking Group from there, and then found his way into Babcock International, where he spent several years of his life being the head of projects with a technology bias. He was delivering digital transformation for some very well-known companies across the globe. After that, he decided to set up iCoTech in 2018, as he decided or saw that there was a better way to deliver projects from there. And his first customer that he kind of took with him was Companies House. So he spent a year with them, being head of digital transformation and leading their P3 transformation program. From there, we've grown pretty much exponentially. We've worked with many well-known public sectors such as ACAS, ONS, IPO, and the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, on a consultative basis. So we've been helping them visualize and implement wholesale digital change across the groups. We've also have then a sort of an international reach, and we're working with companies in the likes of the USA, UAE, and a little bit further afield now in the sort of Asia Pacific region. So we are truly going global at this point in time. So our approach, we feel that our approach is a little bit different to some of our competitors. We focus on delivering value at pace. This is our ultimate core belief, and one we work hard to achieve every day. We're very proud of the way that we engage with our customers. We do this by creating great relationships and networks with our customers and clients. We also have the best tools and systems in place to enable us to deliver change and projects for our clients, and we're always learning and sharing our knowledge with others. Hence this webinar today, and we do this across the team at iCoTech. So it doesn't matter what level an individual is within the business. They always have the knowledge to help deliver our core belief, which is value at pace. So we're always looking for new ideas, researching those ideas and innovating. We like to think that we have the best people in the right places to deliver that sort of innovation across the Microsoft stack. So our offerings are broken down into effectively 4 buckets or 4 sections, if you like. The first being solutions, and that is taking Microsoft 365 and building solutions for business-specific objectives and business-specific outcomes. Things like grant management systems, ideas hubs, project management systems, asset tracking management systems, predictive analytics tools. The list goes on, but really it comes down to building a solution for a specific need using the Microsoft 365 platform to achieve the outcome that is required. The next one is products. Those tend to be sort of SaaS products, that you buy on a per user per month basis. They're all available for the Microsoft Marketplace and can be consumed quite quickly and quite easily. And they tend to be slimmed down versions of off-the-shelf products that can be deployed into your environments with ease. We also do a very good consultative approach to our business. We help transform businesses with their digital landscapes. We help create roadmaps and build business cases for digital change. And then obviously the training that sort of goes alongside that as well is something that we do quite a bit. And the last one is services. After we've either developed or built a product or service for a customer, or they've downloaded or installed applications themselves, then we help support them using those tools to their fullest potential. So the Microsoft 365 environment, there are currently 38 applications available in the suite. Most people aren't quite aware that there's so many. Most people know the usual suspects like PowerPoint, Outlook, Excel, Office, but we as a business specialize in the Power Platform, and that's made up of 4 key components, which is Power Apps. These are specific business applications designed to solve business issues and streamline processes. There's the Power BI platform. This is a really massively powerful data visualization tool that can give invaluable insights into the business and help you make critical business decisions based on accurate data and giving you a really good single source of the truth. Then there's Power Automate. This is where we can automate many of the processes in your business or organization and help give back time and resources and make the business more productive by automating workflows that can happen automatically or a click of a button. There's many different things that you can do with that, but it's a really powerful tool. And the last one is Power Virtual Agents, which you might have seen on some websites as chatbots. These are pre-programmed responses where customers interact with them, ask questions to the most sought after questions. This can link into your live chat environment as well and help you sort of engage with the customer and keep up to date with them as they're on your website. Some of the other tools within there, well-known applications like Dynamics, which is the CRM suite that we use here. Teams and SharePoint deployments is something that we do quite regularly. Sort of configuring those sort of starting blocks to enable the full digital process is something that really needs to be done properly at the very beginning. So the Internet of Things. So let's jump into it. So this is our view on the Internet of Things and where we and Microsoft see the future of IoT. So the Internet of Things, or IoT for short, what is it? Gartner defined IoT as the network of physical objects that contain embedded technology to communicate and interact with their internal states and external environments. In essence, it is every item that is connected to the internet and has a computer attached to it. Of course, a system or function like a robotic arm that moves items around a conveyor belt in a manufacturing plant might have a computer inside it. It could be talking to various pieces or components inside that asset, but it is also talking to an external environment and sharing the data that it's collecting and connecting that device to a repository, whatever that might be, a data set. And we will then come on to that in a little bit more detail later on. This really is quite a broad and quite a difficult subject to bring to life, but that's why we wanted to do this webinar today, to show some examples of how IoT can be deployed into operational environments and some of the benefits that it can bring to businesses. Excuse me. So what are your things? We all have things, right? So in businesses or in our homes, we have a many number of things that can be classed as IoT. For example, plant machinery in operational environments such as baggage handling, or machines like that shake tea leaves, like one of our customers, Beckley's and Taylor's, use. Other things like security devices, CCTV, automatic doors, even laptops, mobile phones, scanners, things like that. There's a whole range of things that we have, assets that we have as businesses and people. We got things in the supply chain, items like conveyor belts, so automatic packaging machines, automated forklift trucks. There's so many things that are available to us, at this very moment. Let's try and visualize or think about a massive organization running an airport, for example. Just try to envisage the amount of assets that they have in the background, to perform the seemingly easy task of taking your bag from baggage drop in to getting it on the right plane at the right time to go on holiday with you. Even as I sit in this office now, looking around me, there's things like laptops, mobile phones, Apple watches. We've got some of them hanging about as well. And then we've got cloud network enabled infrastructure, analytics tools. We all have these components and devices that are available to us. The next thing we have is data. So transactional data, things like projects, risks, issues, actions. If you've got an ERP system that holds personal data, financial reports, P&L, balance sheets, financial transactions in bank accounts, whatever that is sitting in those systems is all data. We have our own CRM system here, which is Dynamics 365, by the way. And it has things like our events, our webinars, all our customer engagements, in there. You've got links into your social platforms, things like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, those sorts of things. I mean, there's some there as well that I don't know about, that my 12-year-old daughter tells me are the next big thing, and she calls me a dinosaur because I don't know anything about them. But there's a whole world out there of data that we can access. So we all have data that sits in these repositories, that we can exploit and utilize. And then you've got extra sort of public data repositories, people like HMRC and ONS that pump out a huge wealth of information that keeps us informed. And it's all there, it's all available for us to go and use and consume. So what can we do when we combine those things or devices with the data that we have? So it's all about enabling and empowering people to make decisions, in our view. It's about taking that data that's stored in those things and the data we have held within our systems and bringing them together to connect with customers and business partners to create those quality relationships. These are critical components that help power businesses, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that later on as we go along. So, the way 365 approaches this, we can connect to a number of devices, in theory, as many as you want. But we can right now connect to things like POS systems, mobile phones, PCs, tablets, whether it's medical devices like wearable technologies, key codes to let you into buildings, turnstiles, to let you into buildings as well, where you're swiping in with your key cards, handheld barcode scanners, inventory tracking, stock items, even here at iCoTech as a technology offering, we use the mobile scanners to track our own assets internally. So the things like ATMs that they've got, that've got mountains of information in them. You can take sort of any IoT device and apply it into any industrial device you want. Things like windmills, packaging machines, whatever it needs to be. Then you have the line of business assets like robotic arms. You see these on like Tesla adverts, where the arms are creating and building those cars on the assembly line. It doesn't have to be those big high value items either. They could be very small items, printed circuit boards, or arms, recycling waste on a conveyor belt. The one I really like the sort of visualization of it is the biscuit factory, the quality control end of it on a conveyor belt. There's a little arm that's and a camera that scans every wagon wheel that goes through it, and takes out all the broken ones and throws them in the bin. That's one that I really liked, like watching with my daughter when she was showing me on the TV the other day. It was a really good visual representation of kind of what IoT can achieve. So we can connect to those devices within those environments and report on them basically. The other things like footfall sensors to track how many people are entering and leaving buildings like supermarkets, which in today's world is particularly prevalent, with all our COVID restrictions. So what can we do then with all that data? We can put it all into a cloud service like Microsoft Azure. There are other options available, but obviously we have a fairly strong bias towards the Microsoft technology. In the next slide, I'll show in a bit more detail how this all sort of connects together. We'll go through it step by step and show you how you can push that data into Azure, and how then you can use the 365 suite to pull from that data and visualize it in things like Power BI. So it's really about taking that data that you have on the things that you currently own and making informed decisions on that data and putting rules and automation on them to make sure that it works well for yourself and for your business. So, are you ready for this one? This is quite an in-depth one and quite a long slide that will come up over the way. So, we've got things like vehicle tracking, smart grid technology for cities. We have general equipment that we use. Tools, hammers, drills, things like that. Fire detection systems, healthcare, smart building automation. Like turnstiles and doors that we mentioned before. Digital advertising platforms is a big one as well. We've been so used to using sort of fixed posters and advertisements on the sides of buildings. I saw one of these the other day, a man up a ladder, plastering a big billboard, and just thinking, why isn't he using it, or why aren't they using a digital screen there? So it can change and be more targeted at the people that are sort of in the vicinity of it. Things like as well smart home technologies. What I call government listening devices. In our house, that's what they're known as, or you might know them as Alexas and Google Home technology and Apple Home technology. So that all that technology lets us to help us make informed decisions on the data that those devices are collecting. Things like our buying habits, our interests, and things like that. And coming back to sort of vehicle tracking and cameras, and I'm not talking about the GPS systems on vehicles where you track them around the country up and down the roads. I'm more talking about things like car parks. You can link together cameras and sensors to show you how many cars are within a particular car parking space. If any of you have been to a local NCP multi-story car park recently, you will have seen this firsthand. It tells you how many car parking spaces are available within the car park before you even decide to go in there. As you go up through the levels as well, then it tells you how many parking spaces are at each level. That's using IoT, the Internet of Things, to track the movements of cars and give you that real-time data, so that you can make decisions on where you park your car. Excuse me. Power meters. The rise of smart power meters now is huge. These devices can give you insights on how much power your building is consuming, so that can give you a day-by-day usage and prediction of costs at the end of the month. So you can help budget for those. You've got load monitors. Internet load monitors that monitor internet usage, so you can see how much bandwidth you're using down your pipe. And then you can also do things like locate potential bottlenecks and make provisions to stop that. The same thing goes for utilities like water and gas and things like that. A big one as well is temperature sensors for cold stores, where excuse me. where food products are stored. You can have alarms that sound when temperature's too high or too low. Um, and you can obviously keep temperatures of offices at optimum temperatures. Um, what can we do with all that data? It's collected, and we can monitor it, and we can use it for remote access, content configuration, and distribution of telematics. Maintenance is another one. It's another big one. If you can predict what's going to go wrong uh, before it does, you can stop it from going wrong and make sure that those things don't happen to you. Sorry, my voice is seem to have disappeared at this point in time. So crack on though. So what we can do is we can plug all those devices into an intelligent system like Microsoft Intelligent Systems. Microsoft Azure they're ready for us to use now, and it's super simple to set up, and we can connect our IoT devices to that and start recording all of that data. On the left-hand side, we have a line of business applications. This is all about the Power Platform, apps in SharePoint lists, for example. Simpler applications that are doing specific things where we can report on operations, project operations. We can use customer satisfaction, whatever that may be. Then you can put it into dashboard tools like Power BI that can bring together amazing visuals. These can be integrated with things like Facebook, LinkedIn, and other social platforms, and then enterprise applications. If you're using a massive ERP tool like Microsoft Business Central, Dynamics, SAP, Oracle, or those types of platforms, then we can easily plug into this data using Microsoft Azure Intelligent Systems to give you insight into the things that you're most interested in, like the price of ownership of an asset, for example. What's the total cost of ownership for a fleet vehicle that's doing deliveries within the business? Those types of questions can be asked and answered very easily using these types of tools. So it's not sector specific. The technology can be used across all sectors and business types. The places we see most uptake and the biggest impact right now is in smart homes and cities. The use of the data being collected will definitely shape the look and feel of your city over the next 5 to 10 years. And that's sort of a sort of brief overview or high level overview of what we feel the Internet of Things is and what it can do. So the longer term vision of IoT, I'm going to give you a short break, and I'm quite thankful for this right now, so I can get my voice sorted out after my little coughing fit partway through there. I'm going to show you a little video at this point in time, which is from Microsoft, and it gives you an idea of their vision of the future of IoT and what they think it's going to be. So I hope you enjoy it. Great. Thank you, Microsoft, for that one. Apologies if you couldn't hear the sound on that one. I've just had some feedback that the sound hasn't come through on the presentation too. So real apologies for that if you couldn't hear it. But I hope that you sort of the subtitles were enough for you to have a look at that and make some head nor tail of it and bring the subject to life a little. So just a little bit more insight into Microsoft's longer term vision on this subject with some more stats and statistics, as I know you all love numbers, and an idea of where the market is going. In business worldwide invested $1.3 trillion in 2020 across the spectrum of IT. Things like software, hardware, and digital transformation. It's a massive market at the moment. On the bottom right bar graph, there's the prediction that the market is going to continue to grow over the next few years. And I think that this prediction is a little on the conservative side. And I think that figure, when we get to 2023, will be much, much higher. How much higher, I don't know, but that's sort of my prediction at this point in time. I feel that this sort of graphic gives us an insight into where technology is going to add the next level of value. And the statement from Satya from Microsoft sort of states that they've seen 2 years of growth in 2 months, and that's mainly down to the global pandemic. We all know that at the start of 2020, there was a huge shift in the way we worked and the way we use technology. And this data will help us sort of derive better and more efficient ways of working in the future. So the longer term industry from sort of outside of the Microsoft industry, as we're a Microsoft Gold partner, we're obviously quite biased towards the Microsoft technology stack, but it is always good to have an outsider's view of this as well. Where the Internet of Things is going to be in the next few years, and so on and so forth. So the future of IoT is billions of small powered devices that provide real-time insight into every asset. So you can see how big this market really can be. The best and fairly scary part of this is that it's invisible to most of us. We don't even know it's happening around us. And this will primarily be driven by sort of notifications and upwards push of data to those devices and systems to collect and display that data. So in 2016, there were 4.7 billion things connected to the internet. And if you fast forward that now to today in 2021, there are 11.5 billion connected devices, and by 2025 there will be 21 billion things connected to the internet. Again, I think these are conservative numbers, and that number is going to be probably a lot higher, but again, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming years with that. But consumers won't be the only ones using IoT devices. Cities and companies will be investing in this technology to give the best service to its customers and make critical business decisions to save time and money. Automation is going to play a big part of the future of IoT, to manage and monitor data using the tech that we've kind of covered in the previous slides as well. Healthcare really is an interesting sort of sector to look at as well. It's predicted that the industry will exceed $10 billion in spending on IoT by 2024. It's currently a massive area and a massive growth market. 5G is definitely helping to enable this growth across the board. Imagine, if you will, a health system that's proactive instead of reactive. For example, you're being called up by your doctor to tell you that your blood pressure is far too high and that you need to come into hospital for some blood pressure tablets or some sort of investigatory sort of procedures. Before you have a heart attack or something like that. I think that's a bit extreme, but I think you can kind of see where I'm going with that one. That preventative measure again, which we talked about in maintenance of the equipment in manufacturing settings as well. That kind of same kind of idea on that. So I just want to give you some Internet of Things use cases using Azure. So, in a simple way, I'll break it down to some examples of how things were before the Internet of Things and how they are now after being enabled by those devices and the Internet of Things. So, if we take the first one, deliveries, we're talking packages here. Delivery schedules were used to be based on distances and historical traffic patterns. These were system generated by fixed historical data, and would estimate the time it would take to get from A to B, and you would be given into sort of an estimated time slot of deliveries. But obviously nowadays, this is all done in real time. So adjustments are made to routes, and times on the go based on the live data, and alerts are then sent to customers, to give them ideas of when their package is going to turn up and be a bit more accurate with delivery times. But we all know that some of these delivery guys are still well behind the curve, and your delivery slot is Tuesday, and that's all you get. But obviously people are catching up, and I think in the future you will have the ability to have sight of where that package is going to be to the minute, of turning up to your door, an exact time rather than an estimated time. So that's where I can see that one going. So you're not going to be hanging around for that package all day. From there, again, we'll cover the equipment maintenance is a big one. I used to work in the Royal Mint as a very young lad. We used to have a schedule of maintenance on the plant that was periodically done. It was every 12 months we'd have a big shutdown and replace all the bits and pieces. But invariably there were large breakdowns in between those points, which really cost us time and money. With IoT in place, the reporting on the plant is done much more accurately. And you can spot those issues before they arise and quickly repair them before a breakdown happens. Preventative maintenance is so much better than reactive maintenance. Again, that analogy of the healthcare system, comes into play there as well. You spot and prevent the issues from happening before they become an issue. And that's what IoT is helping us to do. In everyday life. I'll come back to the static advertisements as well, which I touched on earlier. To date, the practice of plastering a billboard still exists. You as a business would buy a billboard spot from a specific location or a fixed amount, for a fixed amount of time as well, and that advert would be static. It wouldn't move, it wouldn't do anything, and it was there for X amount of time. Nowadays it's more about digital advertising. I'm sure you've seen the adoption of digital screen advertising in shopping centres, train stations, and now even on the sides of roads. These could be changed to target specific demographics in the locality of a digital billboard. It can even be used to send out text messages to your phone via SMS to give you discount codes, offers on particular items that that particular advertisement is trying to sell. And it's all based on the information that it stores in its repositories. Also, as well, one of the benefits of this is the billboards can be changed really quickly and remotely. There's no longer that guy running up the ladder in all weathers, to plaster a billboard. But also as well, on the flip side, it's so much better for the advertisers. Change those billboards within seconds, to be in line with current trends and what's going on within the business, to be bang on the money, to be honest with you, and maximize those investments. So we'll go to IoT in manufacturing, and again, thanks to Microsoft for this graphic. They really are a great tool if you're ever having to do something like this, because a great mine of information that's already there for you. So this is a really good depiction of a manufacturing plant and a kind of a corporate level. This is all about monitoring the conveyor belt, monitoring in real time to eliminate waste and unnecessary inventory in the process of manufacturing. Then we go on to the management of the equipment. remotely. We can do all that remotely, knowing when the robotic arm is going to fail, when to turn it on and off, monitoring the temperature of the arm, the quality of the oil in the hydraulic system, and knowing when to replace it. All that data can be reported on using IoT, and help the plant to have more uptime and be more productive due to less breakdowns. We come on to then again, distribution, with the barcode scanning, knowing exactly where that item is going to, what lorry it has to be loaded onto, and what bay the lorry is parked in, and then tracking that parcel, and sharing that with the customer, who can watch the progress of that order from the very start. When they click that button to buy a new iPhone or whatever it is, they can see it coming down the assembly line. It takes them through the full process. They know when it's in the box, they know when it's in the lorry, and they can track it on a GPS system, right to their front door. That's the kind of things these IoT devices can help you track. So Microsoft have broken this down into sort of three sections, if you like. You got your field service operative. He knows when to and how to develop the right resources, for predictive maintenance to minimize equipment failures and reduce service costs. Then we go up to the management team, sort of CIO, CTOs, CEOs, all those kind of people. They can see the production line status and recommend adjustments to better manage operational costs. And then obviously you have the R&D in the middle there as well, sort of doing their bits and pieces. So that's just sorry, an example of where a modern manufacturing plant will use this technology to control the whole process from start to finish. There's other things that the management can do as well. Is things like staffing. Even though we're talking about IoT and a lot of the automated processes, there still is human interaction in this. There still has to be those staffing levels as well. So that's something that they can track from start to finish from there. So how can iCoTech help and take you and help you make the leap into the Internet of Things? As a Microsoft Gold implementation partner, we've done these sort of proof of concepts before. We can help you build those proof of concepts and help you build those business cases, to make wholesale digital change within businesses. We can help you connect those devices into those platforms like Azure and the other tools within the Microsoft platform and outside the Microsoft platform with connectors, and sort of help you build that whole sort of basis to make those informed decisions within businesses, to save money, to be more productive, those sort of things. So we've got a massive wealth of experience in doing this as well, and using the Power Platform, like we said from the very beginning, is our core business. So we're very, very well used to doing that, and also the automation process is something that we do regularly and is quite a very good tool to use as well. So that's kind of a little bit of a whistle stop tour of the Internet of Things and how it's used and how it can be used in Azure. I'll open it up to questions if anybody has any specific questions that they want to ask about the presentation or the Internet of Things. I'll do my very best to answer them here and now. If I can't, then I'll definitely get an answer to you very shortly by getting the appropriate information for you. So does anybody have any questions at the moment? You can pop them into the chat bar if you want to do that. Okay, I'm hoping that we've covered pretty much everything that people were looking to sort of get at that section, because there's no questions forthcoming in the chat bar, but please do feel free to get in touch with us after the event as well. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions, and help you start that journey within the IoT sector if that's something that you're looking to do. So please do drop us a line, get in touch, email us, call us, jump on our Facebook pages or Twitter pages. on our LinkedIn pages and connect with us. But if there's anything, if there's nothing else to add from there, I will close it down here and now. And I wish you all the best and thank you very much for attending the webinar. And hope you've got a bit of information out of it. So have a great day, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.